We started the
That's awesome.
our first trip was to Hong Kong 19 years ago, right
after it turned over.
and it is a different town now.
I mean, it was more English spoken there.
Totally, very Western. You know, the city that is now that strikes me as more like what Hong Kong used to be.
Because I look at
Totally in there. Everybody speaks English. It has a completely familiar vibe. You go out your door and you see all manner of people, whereas Beijing is very different. Oh, but I think it's the financial center, and if you talk to, I remember when I was in Beijing the first time, a bunch of the folks there said, well, Shanghai's not China. And I said, well, I think it is China.
Put it out there and then we're just in this house without following.
Because one thing I was thinking is that I don't have this yet, because usually this one happens.
Right.
And I'm.
So, but it's Beijing, you can tell, we went to the Forbidden City, I've never been to the Forbidden City.
Right.
Wow. The scale of that is pretty remarkable.
I know, it is really small group, but
And this is a palace where he compares himself to speak at the next palace, and that, I tell you, the emperor.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, I was laughing because all of the emperor who had this absolute power was perpetually afraid of people trying to kill him.
I would say like, let's go ahead and put it out there
You won't tell him where he
now. Put it
sleeps,
out
he's
there
got
again,
18 or
like,
27 different possible locations. Thousands.
I know, but keep in mind, there's a lot of produce for them
Yeah. At one point, he had to dig down and put 7 feet of rock underneath huge portions of the Forbidden City, so that people could tunnel in
let's
from
talk
below.
about what it is a little bit, and then we're starting collecting for it. And we also have
They go down and
and out
brick, lay bricks.
like who to
7
contact
feet.
and find more
Can you
information about it.
imagine?
And then we'll just put that information out
The
again.
emperor.
Skip that, we can do that, we can run that, we can mail that a week later. Yeah.
So did you see the other one? What you had sent out?
Recently?
The last 5 years. The last 7 years ago, they just settled the second girl. Actually, they got
Is this the same case that Barbara lost her job over? Is that one? Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, they had another article where they settled the second. Must have been a civil case.
Yeah, that guy was despicable. Yep.
It was all weekend. We never played Pasadena Hall. We played in Griffin schedule that went down there. They won the CFF. And so we played it. That was their star.
Really?
Yeah, he made first team all CFF. And when I came and read that, I'm like, no, I'm like,
Oh, did you go to that
remember
next?
name, right? And then there was Pasadena Hall.
Anxious guy.
That guy.
Was it Wilton? I'm so glad.
Weird.
Just worried about that.
Apparently he was up there. Santa Barbara, 15 was like,
I'm like the bad child.
Really?
Well, I was like, I just can't do it.
Kendra, you gonna talk to us today?
Yeah, it's nice for the holidays.
They're lovely.
Yeah, really good.
But it was such an interesting scenario. Yeah.
It's going to be a
So they do like 2-level application, 2-factor.
That's how
When you start,
But, you
I don't have the number.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Go to the stores. Are you beer? Or you?
I'm going
Thank you very much.
They were lucky that they found it so early.
Your family lives in Sacramento?
We're fine.
But I know America.
What are they now?
I do.
Are we on Friday?
I don't hear. You're glad for both the rest of our You're glad for Are you guys doing it? Yeah.
No, thank God.
Are you speaking or?
Oh, that's right. But that, I feel like
No, we're just
Stay behind you.
So, I really like their business.
Christmas
It's
break.
really good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, Allison is part of it. Yeah, I know. That's right.
I'm good here.
But with the holidays,
She's such a performer.
Thank you.
She gets the kind of.
Hi guys.
Only when I need to be.
right?
We have first just to introduce our first speakers today. We have Will Holmes here and Cambria Weaver. And some of you guys are familiar with the holiday cheer program, but they're starting to get that going this year, and they want to tell you a little bit more about it and how you can contribute. So, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll go first. As she said, my name is Will Holmes. One of the things I do here is direct the public service program. And holiday cheer is something Kate School has been doing for, I think, since the late 70s. And we partner with a health clinic in town. We get the names and details of usually 4 to 6 families in Carpinteria who we sponsor. And it's something that's going to be, a lot of stuff's going to happen internally in the 2 weeks between the breaks. And Cambria is one of the students who was on the holiday cheer committee last year. There's a small group who were on the committee because only so many of us can fit in a vehicle to go deliver ultimately the gifts. But it is not exclusive at all in that parents, faculty, staff, the student body, the boys varsity basketball team is again collecting cash donations on campus between the breaks after the Thanksgiving break. So a lot of people contribute. And I can't tell you how it's changed my perspective of Carpinteria in that I have even chills thinking about some of the places that I've seen and observed that if I hadn't been part of this program, I wouldn't know, and I would just think, oh, this is a shopping mall and there isn't something happening a quarter mile down the road. It's really different than what we experienced certainly up here in Minnesota. So Cambria wants to talk a little bit about her experience last year.
So I'm a senior and I've been at Kate long enough to know that Kate fundraising usually consists of rivalry with food or competition between dorms. And what's really cool about holiday cheer is that it's just about the spirit of giving. There isn't any kind of competition attached to that. It's just a really pure act of service from all of the students and the families who participate. And that's really unique to me. Part of it probably is the whole Hallmark Christmassy vibe that everyone gets at this time of year, but it's still really exciting. And last year, I was fortunate enough to be part of the group that went to visit the families who we were presenting presents to. And there were 2 houses that we visited that really stuck out to me. One of them was in Santa Barbara, and one of the, it was a small, like, 1-bedroom apartment, and the bedroom was split in half by curtains that were hung up from the ceiling. And 2 families were living in this pretty small apartment. And one of the young women who was living there was a teenager who was also a junior in high school. And so it was really interesting talking to her about all the things we had in common, like junior year stress, and we're both playing soccer, and yet we were coming from such different circumstances. So that deficit was really interesting to me to observe. And then the other house that we visited that really stuck out to me was a man living alone in a trailer park nearby, and not only were we presenting him with cheese presents, but also this connection that was so important for keeping him alive and going and finding happiness in his days. So we really just sat and talked to him for like an hour, and we got to learn all about his life and all about the things that he found joy in. So it was a really amazing experience, and I'm super excited to be part of the committee.
I will find out all the details, like who's in the family, how old the kids are, sizes for everybody, including the parents, and I will share that with Sydney. I usually don't find out until after vacation, and then we can put it out in a parent square so that folks can find out. I know in recent years, some Kate families have liked to sort of target a family and get a number of things for a certain family. So you can do it however you want, and as Cambria said, it's really a community effort that makes it happen.
And there's a wish list for each family, is that, and do you guys build that, or do they provide it?
So they provide it, and it's like a mixture of wants and needs. I'd say about 75% of what we get for these families are needs, and then we do try to get a little bit of wants.
Yes.
But when you visit the families, I mean, when Kimberly was talking about the man we visited, I mean, he lives in a space the third the size of this room. So it's a different experience, and their needs are as important as maybe their wishes and wants. So I'll stick around for this meeting, so let me know at the end if you have any questions or things you want to find out more about. But thank you, Cambria. She was in class and came out of class.
Also, if you have a copy of the agenda today, that has Will's email address on it. And we have a box here, just if you have a donation you want to make today, just money or check, you could put it there. And there's also a little card over there that you can take home with you if you'd like to act later and send something with instructions about how to send that, and we'll get to Will. So thank you for speaking to us today. That program is really fun. I know for my kids, like we always give them a budget to buy each other presents, and like going to Target and like filling out your list is like a really exciting way to get them excited about the holidays, and not just about what they're going to get, but how others are going to be able to benefit. So that's really great that you guys do that. Susan is not here today to talk about parent representatives, but I just wanted to give an update for her. The Halloween goodie bags went really well. There was a lot of people, a lot of volunteers participating, so that's really fun. I feel like particularly I've noticed in the freshman and the sophomore groups this year, just a very enthusiastic participation, both donating and getting together and making the bags and delivering. And so I think that's been a really fun way for some parents to connect. And I just have a couple of pictures here of some of the goodie bags that were made for that. Oh, and this is Danielle's faculty appreciation chili lunch, which she's going to talk about a little bit more. But you can see that's another thing that we did for October. This is also part of the luncheon. This was the senior goodie bag. And this is some of the volunteers that came and helped for the luncheon. Yes, so I can't wait to keep on that. So thank you to everybody who donated and volunteered. That was fun. And we have coming up the holiday treat bags, which will be distributed sometime between November 30th and December 3rd. So if you're not on the parent representative list and you want to participate in that project, either by donating goods or volunteering your time, Susan's email is on this as well, and you can let her know if you'd like to get involved in details about that project. Will be going out soon. And Danielle is here today to talk about faculty appreciation. Thanks. Thanks, Danielle.
So I wanted to thank everyone who helped make the Halloween lunch festive for the faculty. Lots of people came through over 2-hour periods. People had a chance to sit down and talk to other faculty members in a slightly more relaxed environment, so that worked out great. And then coming up on December 13th, we're going to collect cookies, either homemade ones or other festive cookies, and then the faculty will come here and get a box, and they can pick out a dozen cookies that they'd like to take home to their family.
Best day of the school year right there.
So I'm going to pass around a sign-up sheet. If you'd like to donate cookies, you can bring them to my home the day before or here that morning, the 13th. So thanks very much for all your help.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.
If we already signed up. And yeah, I think we're ready to talk about summer program.
I think hopefully Ella will come, but at least I've got lots of great other people to talk to you a little bit. But my name is Hallie Green. I work here at Kate, and I help run our summer programs. And we have 2 Kate summer programs that we do, our Kate Summer Institute and our Kate Sports Academy. Kate Summer Institute is 2 one-week sessions at the end of June for current 6th and 7th graders, rising 7th, 8th. where they come and take classes in the morning and do outdoors in the afternoon. It's a residential camp, so it's not just kids from California, but across the country and in the world too. And I have actually a couple of faculty to speak with you a little bit about that. And then the other camp we have is our sports camp, which happens in July and August, and those are 1-week sessions where you can sign up to take 1 week of a sport at a time, and that's both day or residential. And those, last year we did, let's see, we've got baseball, basketball, volleyball, lacrosse, water polo, and tennis. And they're great camps to do, and once again, we get kids that are coming from California, but also internationally and around the rest of the country, which is cool. So more importantly though, I wanted to bring some folks up here to talk a little bit about these camps that are in them. So Jessica, CC, and Shannon and Matt came up here and talk, and hopefully Ella joined. So one of the hard part, I tried to get some kids to come talk about CSI, but because CSI is mainly for middle school, and our sports camp is middle school, not all of our kids have done it. But to introduce you guys, we've got Jessica Block and Cece Swenson, theater and chemistry, that co-taught the literary and chemical alchemy of Harry Potter last year for Kate Summer Institute, which was a huge hit, and they put together the most incredible video that like literally makes you wish you were a kid again. So I want to make sure they have a chance to talk a little bit about Kate Summer Institute. Sorry, Sydney. And then Matt and Shannon worked for Kate Sports Academy. Shannon is our athletic trainer, Matt as our baseball coach. And so they were able to kind of sort of be a part of that process and what that sort of feels like when you're a camper here involved in that. So I don't know if you guys want to just sort of take a little bit of time to talk about your experience working in the various camps and why you choose to do it too in the summer.
Okay. So Jessica and I started this because it was something that we talked about a few times, the alchemy piece in both Harry Potter and as a chemical idea and as a literary idea. When Jess first floated it to me, I was like, oh my God, chemistry with middle schoolers, I'm not quite sure about that. But we put together a program that we also take the design part. So our class is longer than everybody else's because we're time hogs. We do the class in the morning, and then we actually have them go through the design process that the D School brought to us to come up with Muggle Quidditch. So you can talk a little bit about those.
So usually in CSI, you're as a child, you experience the academic classes, an outdoors component, and also a leadership component. And the leadership component is kind of like our human development program, but also incorporates design thinking. We kind of incorporated that into our class with Harry Potter because it deals so much with social issues, the book. So we've incorporated that leadership and human growth development through our discussions with Harry Potter. And so within our class, like Cece said, I'll just get nerdy on you. So alchemy is basically into 3 stages. There's the red stage and the white stage and the black stage, and that turns into gold. So what we did was we took chemistry for them to experience qualities of each of those stages. Meanwhile, they were searching the books for symbolism that related to what they physically experienced in class. And then they had to draw connections and literally draw connections on a graffiti board, and their little eyes just, when they realized that what they were reading had a lot more significance than what they thought, and we've got over and over that they had no idea school could be like this, that it was fun, and they would feel like they were tricked into learning something at the end of the day. Which was great to hear. And then what Cece was talking to is our design thinking was they had to design they had a problem, how can Muggles experience Quidditch because we don't have flying broomsticks. So they then had to dissect what were the needs, what's important, what's the real problem, and design their own game. And we've taught the class 4 times now, and each group has come up with a different set of rules and a different way to make this game happen, which is pretty great.
And once we figured out, after we realized we were going to have middle schoolers for 6 hours a day, and we had this little moment of, oh my God, what are we going to do? Once we figured out that we also needed a craft and a snack, we were out there. So morning snack, a crab, afternoon snack, and, you know, it's all good. And who knew there was so much food in Harry Potter?
Yeah, so Shannon and I, we've been fortunate enough to work the camp the past 2 summers. We worked at camp 3 summers ago with Jess Siriano, who is the woman who runs the camp. So we met her back at that camp in Boston, and she was looking for an opportunity to come to start her own camp elsewhere. So we stayed in touch, and the past 2 years, the summer camp has got off the ground, and last summer we saw significant growth in the numbers for each individual sport. I know for baseball, year 1 we had 6 or 7 kids, and last year we were up to 17 or 18. Most other sports saw that same growth. I think lacrosse was somewhere in the around 25 kids last summer. They might have been in single digits the year before as well. Yeah, it was something, at least for us, we figured we were going to be, with family back east. We knew we'd be spending a little bit of time there, but for the majority of the summer we'd be here, and we thought what a great opportunity it would be to spend some time with some younger kids. We're going to be here anyways, and for myself, I love to coach. It's what I went to school for. I loved athletics, and I didn't want to leave that aspect of it when I graduated college, so I continued to do it, and the opportunity to do it for an extra 4 or 5 weeks during the summer is just great. I couldn't be more thankful for the opportunity, and the kids we get are some remarkable kids, just like CSI, and kids that we've seen start to look at Kate as a potential high school. Just yesterday, there was a kid I had in the baseball program this summer who was here interviewing, and he came up and said hi to me, and I was able to introduce him to Coach Soto and some other faculty. So it was just seeing that we are reaching out to those kids in a positive way, and if we can get 5-10% of them to maybe look at Kate, I think we're doing a pretty good job in the summer of making this and hosting it at such a beautiful campus. We're making it worth our while.
Yeah, and I'd say for me, I noticed that the sports over the summer kind of mirrors the experience at Kate too. So we have a range of students who have never played a sport before, all the way up to kids who are pretty good at their sport. So watching that growth over a week is actually pretty remarkable. I've never, I've worked a few summer camps, but this one is a really good developmental camp. So that's been really exciting. And then just getting to know students that are looking at Kate and then end up coming here is really fun. And even students that don't end up coming here, there's a student who goes to Lorena, and every time she plays here, she'll come and say hi to me. So that's kind of fun too. But I'd also say having the opportunity to work with alum as counselors as well is really fun, and getting to see them in more of the RA type position and bonding with the athletes that are here at camp is really cool too. And so basically their day, we don't really have a problem with them being wound up because they're exhausted usually. So they'll have double sessions, and then in the afternoon or in the evenings they'll do various activities like go in a cart, or we'll watch a movie on senior lawn, and just different bonding activities that are really fun for the kids. So it's a good summer activity.
And I will say, and I'm glad you brought this up, one great thing about our summer programs, and I think actually that makes us unique from a lot of other boarding school summer programs, is our faculty and our students are running it. So we have our faculty that are teaching and coaching that are at Kate, which for so many reasons is a great benefit. It sets the standard of, you expect what you see in the summer to be our Kate standard. It's not just sort of us trying to find anyone to come in and, it's Kate because it's on our campus, but that's really all that we control. And so you see it with both our Summer Institute and our Sports Academy, that our faculty stay here and they keep giving back to the school over the summer to be involved. And then the other flip side, it's sort of this great leadership pipeline for our seniors. So you can go on and apply to be a counselor to work for our Sports Academy or our Summer Institute, which is so great too, because you get these middle school kids who come here who have all these questions about Kate, And we can provide answers that are bigger than just, oh, this is the campus, that's the dining hall, that's the dorm, there's the fields. So I think for that, it's really exciting and special and something that makes our program a little bit more unique. And something that's actually helped our program grow very quickly in the last couple of years since we really, Kate Summer Institute, I think, is in its 4th year or so. Sports Academy, this will be our 3rd summer. So anyway, I think that's something that's sort of special and makes us excited. That makes the summer very exciting as well.
What are the registration deadlines for these programs? Are you looking to fill these spots right now?
So registration has opened already for both programs. Historically, with academic camps, registration happens on the earlier side. So we've actually we've already gotten a number of families that have signed up for Kate Summer Institute and are enrolling. With sports, that happens a little bit later. I think that ends up being when you're figuring out your summer plans. You kind of look at sports programs as a way to kind of pad your summer plans. But the way we do it's sort of an application process. You apply to go through. Once you're in, you can pick and choose your class or your sport until it fills up. And we definitely have caps and numbers based on the week and what's available for these kids. So some classes fill up faster than others. Some sports fill up faster than others.
And where are you available online? Where's the website?
So if you go great question, if you go to kate.org, on that homepage, if you go to the right-hand side and click the hamburger icon, there's a link that says summer programs. And if you go right there, you can get all of our information. That's where you can also register for our summer programs. I have our handouts are right here next to the CPO agenda for today, so please grab one. It has sort of contact information if you have any questions, and then also just sort of really how to get to us from our website. And everything is listed there with regards to what our classes are, what our sports are. We're still kind of fine-tuning that because it's so early in the year, and we need to sort of figure out what our teachers want to do and what our coaches want to do, but it's pretty clear up there. So, yeah.
For alumni who want to be counselors this summer, who do they apply to and when?
Yes, great question. We start applications for counselor positions in about January, February. And if they're interested, have them email the contact email on the flyer or email me directly, whatever works. What we've done in previous years is we always let seniors know at Kate, it's time to apply for the counselor position. So if you think this might be something that's great for your kid, just let them know it's coming. And then for alumni, we actually email all alumni that have graduated from Kate in the last 4 years to be like, hey, we're hiring for this job. So have them stay on the lookout in case there's interest.
Well, and one of the things the alums do, even if they're day students, they live in the dorm and they become sort of the resident assistants. So while I live in a dorm, in the summer I have very little contact with the kids, although I probably have more than many do just because I choose to. But they are the ones that get the kids up, make sure that they're in their rooms at lights, when they're supposed to, and that they have lights out, and they manage that evening time. So it's very cool.
I think it's also worth mentioning, Holly, you should tell the group here that these programs actually do make money for the school. They pay for themselves. So that's a nice thing as well.
Yeah, our summer, so it's really great. Our summer programs are revenue generators, which helps support the school, and it also actually helps support its own program because we're able to offer financial aid as well with both programs from that money that we're able to make too, which is great. Thank you.
Any more questions? Summer programs? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Then that's you up next, please. Give this name. That's where I put it.
Good, Mike, next. That would be fun.
Mike, are you ready? You can go.
Sure.
Mike Ferguson here has a really exciting new beer cost interface. When you guys flip on to My Parents Now, he's going to show you what little new things he's added.
Exactly, and I'm logged on to Sydney, okay? What we're doing is we're introducing a new parent portal. We'll introduce it sometime next week. Actually, we'll turn it on for everybody. I've had it turned on for some people like Sydney for a while. The major things are everything that you used to do is already there. Okay, it's still there. It looks a little nicer. We got nicer looking buttons for you to go to things. It's organized a little bit better. we actually have control over how we move things around the screen. But there's two major things that I wanted to point out to you. And then one thing of how to get to is obviously report cards. Everybody wants to know how to get to those, so we'll do that. But if you notice, we incorporated MyKate within it now. MyKate is no longer a separate portal. You don't have to go anywhere else. If you want to go to any of the MyKate stuff, such as find CPO volunteer opportunities, it's right up at the top. Okay, the information's there. Click on it, go right to the page. Everything is in one place. All of your re-enrollment stuff that you're going to do next year after you've done the contract online and stuff like that. You used to have to go to MyKate, no longer. Everything is all in one place now. Okay, so that's one of the big things about it. The other really big thing about it is it's now responsive. If you remember when we introduced the new website, one of the things was that we said the new website is responsive. And let me find the right thing here.
Let me just mention too, Mike, that even though this says unread messages 18, I actually did click on this list and I was able to see all the Kate messages that had been sent to my email. So I was able to see like, oh yes, I've seen all of these. And I did find that really helpful to just be able to look all in one place at all the Kate communication and make sure that you've actually noted it all through whatever you receive your email.
Great, yeah, and that's a great point. We're going to go over that when we come back to it. I'll kind of show you those. But what I mean by responsive now, it guides it, you know, it's basically conforms itself to whatever screen you're on. So now it's fully mobile, okay? So if I want to see where Ruby is right now, well, Ruby is free, okay? We're out in 62 minutes, okay? If I'm stuck on the 101 like I was this morning, if anybody was on the 101 North this morning, and I get that email from Lisa that the report cards are out, oh my God, I want to see what it is, okay? All I have to do is click on classes and reports, and I can see, I have a report card, and I can go right to Ruby's report card and see what it's like when it's published. So anything that you can do on the, obviously, the browser version, you can do on the browser, okay, within your smartphone. Okay. So.
And it's not an app if you go to the website on your phone, correct?
Correct, it's not an app, okay, it's a browser. You would go in Safari, you would go to the exact same link, okay, that you did before. And so we're back to that. So big thing, obviously, all of MyKate is incorporated in it. It's responsive, so you can do it on your tablet, on your phone, and whatever. Some of the nice things that Cindy was pointing out, like messages. Okay, so if I in fact go into messages, okay, since we started using Bear Cross to do all the parent communications, okay, that means we now have a record of everything. So you didn't get the email, you deleted it accidentally, it went to your spam folder, something or other, and you can't find it. All you have to do is log on to your parent portal, go to messages. Everything that was sent out, okay, from the school to you will be there. You can pull it up and see exactly what it was. So if you wanted to see what did best send out, okay, here's what best sent out. Okay, right, so that's kind of nice. Everything that you're used to is there. That you had before, you know, paying invoices online, updating your profile. We put the student parent handbook online this year. That was something new that we did, so you can click there for that. Beginning of the year, you have to go into Magnus Health and do your health forms and stuff like that. So what we try to do is just give it an updated look and feel, make it responsive, everything in one place. That's your new portal.
CPO section while you're up there. I just want to show, I know a lot of times people are looking for this expense voucher, and that's available in the CPO area. And then also there's an important dates on there that kind of has a list of all the dates of events and meetings and all the different stuff. So a lot of times people have had trouble finding that before. So now from this new area, you'll just be able to have that CPO link there. That should get you to most of that information. And on there as well, I think that, can you click CPO one more time? I think we also have, yes, this meeting archives is is going to be the link to these meetings that we do. So they'll all be available with the topics hopefully noted so that we can,
That's why we're recording it.
Right.
You'll
So
be able
that
to-
even for people who aren't here, who want to know about the summer programs or holiday cheer, and if they didn't get to watch it when it happened, they're able to refer back and kind of see what we had to say about those programs and participate in that way. So thanks for making that much easier for everybody to locate.
Mike, I have a question. I find that when I go into my unread messages and I click on it, sometimes it's blank, but I've been using Safari, and it looks like you're using, what is it, Firefox?
I'm using Chrome right now. We have tested on all of them, but there are periods of time when
Yeah,
we
I
have an
tried
older
this
version.
morning and it was blank when I clicked on it, but it was Safari, and I bet it's a browser problem.
Normally what happens, and this is kind of the rub of all web developers, and we deal with it all the time, if you're having an issue, we always ask you to clear your cache. That's the first thing, it's clear history, you basically do that. And if that doesn't work, then try another browser. And unfortunately, it's not like we're trying to make an excuse that, hey, something that browsers come up with new releases every month, so you have different browsers, different releases, different rules.
I'll try a different browser.
So,
because
yeah,
I've been blank lately.
if you can make note of, if you know what version of the browser Safari you have,
Yeah.
if clear
It's
cache
the
doesn't
latest
work,
one, so
then let me
maybe it's just
know.
not compatible with Firefox, but I'll let you know.
That would be great for
I'll
us
make
to
note of
know if there is something, and it might be something we can do about it, and it might not. It just
Okay, I'll
depends
make note
on
of
how-
that, and I'll send you an email.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks for making that easy for
Thanks.
us to use.
I thought you were gonna go through Ruby's report card.
I know. We roll that on that.
We really appreciate that.
It's a much better report card than mine.
I know.
It does make me appreciate as an adult, I'm glad that there's no one amassing information on me that we just playing on our screen, right? Yes, they're under a lot of pressure. So with that, then, yes, you're up.
Actually, that, when you were talking, Mike, about the video archive, the idea that anything we say here can then be rehashed, that's worrisome. So yeah, welcome to our final first trimester CPO meeting. If you are anything like your children, you are very happy that it's the final. They're definitely flagging right now. You're seeing a lot of fatigue. If you guys are parents of day students, probably seeing that at home. We're certainly seeing it here. And I was with Carson this morning at breakfast. He had an early lab, and I said, so how you doing? And he kind of grunted. And but he was sort of documenting everything, and he figured 36 hours from that moment he was free and clear, and he was just sort of organizing everything along those lines. So it has been a great and full trimester. That's what happens. But Jim Masker, a long time faculty member here, was fond of saying, the school year's over once you get to Thanksgiving because it just goes so quickly after that. So that's sort of the good news, I guess. A couple of things going on here that you should know about. First, I have been on the road for the last couple of weeks, primarily in preparation for this campaign that we are really in the genesis phase of. And you'll hear more about that when we get farther along. The important part, I think, right now is the immediate things that are happening, and unless the County of Santa Barbara does something particularly unusual, we will be under construction on our new dining hall this summer. And that design phase is all going on right now, but working drawings are supposed to start shortly, and we should be moving earth around in late June. That's our expectation. In terms of what impact that's going to have on the campus, it's pretty limited, actually. The nice thing about the construction of the dining commons is it's in Kirby Quad adjacent to Hitchcock Theater. So we will cordon off some portion of the quad, but for the most part it's not a major traffic area, at least not yet, it will be. And we will be able, we hope, to build it over the course of about 14, 15 months, which would mean we would start eating in there. If you have a sophomore child, they will be eating in there at the beginning of their senior year. That's our expectation. We'll hope that remains true. In terms of functions that are in the building, and essentially what we're doing is building a combination dining commons and community center. So all of the Blue U will move to the new location, all our mail functions, the community center will move out of the Weekend Community Center and into this new building, plus the dining facilities. And once we have completed this, then we'll move in and work on the current community center and repurpose that. There are a bunch of plans for that, and then we'll move into Raymond Commons and begin that process. So the Raymond Commons, once we get there, will be probably a pretty disruptive, just because it's right here in the center of campus. But that will probably be towards the end of the campaign rather than the beginning. So we have a fair amount of time before we get there. And it's really exciting for all of us, and we're thrilled. I think actually the last moment that my wife goes into the current dish room, she's going to get down and pray and do a lot of hallelujah. And I will too, because I get to hear every time she goes into the dish room, oh my God, this is awful. So we will move past that, which we're looking forward to. A couple other things that you should know about, and I know some of you are well aware of this, but Tracy, I know you wrote to Doss Williams about some of the issues we're facing in Carpinteria. Today is the last day for comments on the draft environmental impact report that relates to cannabis growers. Any of you who've driven up here noticed the smell and probably thought it was a skunk. It's not a skunk. And our understanding, and we're learning a lot about how California law works and doesn't work, is that once cannabis was legalized, that means people can grow it. Until the government then comes up with some regulations that will constrain where it can be grown, how it can be grown, all those various things, whether you can have roadside stands, all those kinds of issues that are, which is strange to me. It would seem to me that you would be able to say you can't grow it until we have rules governing its growth. But as the folks, we were just in China recently, and as they pointed out, we do things the right way. You guys in America do it the wrong way. And so we have to deal with this interim period, which is what we're in right now. We did hire attorneys to help us with a letter expressing great disappointment and rejecting the idea that we should have cannabis grown here. We're going to push back as actively and aggressively as we can in that process, and we have to get on record now in order to be able to do that. So this is the last day, our letter's in, and we'll see. Charlotte is actively contacting the schools in the area to see if they want to join with us in a united resistance. Sandy's talking to virtually every neighborhood watch group that's also involved in this effort. So we're going to try and consolidate as many of the like-minded people here to push back against this. But in the meantime, and we don't know how long this process will go on, there is not a whole lot we can do about what's already happening. And it's likely that the smell will get worse before it gets better. That's just a fact, unfortunately, of what we're dealing with right now. So are there questions on that? I know that one is particularly fascinating.
Why is the smell so strong? Don't they contain it in a greenhouse of sorts?
Well, there aren't regulations on that right now. So there are some that are in greenhouses. There are some that are under hoops, which are not even fully contained, and then there's some that are just grown out in the open air. And we don't know anything about whether or not there are health impacts to the odor. We have no idea. I mean, we know if you smoke it or if you ingest it, we know that that does have an impact. We don't know. And there's no real research, and the growers are actively organized against any standards that we might put in place around that. So, we'll see. We also, we're hopeful that the Carpinteria schools will partner with us because they're surrounded by these growers. And I think the odor is more intense there, but there's also a bit of a conflict over whether or not the growth might contribute to more revenue for the schools. And so, there's that kind of thing. I always think that that's sort of a specious exercise to assume that if we do this, that we're gonna make a lot more money, because generally it doesn't happen that way. But that's where we are right now. So we'll see on that. In terms of other things that are going on, we're moving forward with our schedule work, and that we have a series of, you've probably seen, we have a series of professional days coming up around vacations. Those are all time devoted to faculty to begin getting used to the implementation of the new schedule, readjusting our program to fit within parameters where you have longer classes, fewer class meetings. We may even run some dummy schedules, in other words, run a week with, or some days with the longer classes, just so everybody can get used to the concept. So that's all coming. And otherwise, everybody's just excited to go home for break. And Charlotte and I and Lindsay knew of we're all in Asia for the last 2 weeks, and met with our families there. Actually, I think there were 6 different countries we were in at different times. And one of the things that's really cool about a trip like that is, again, the incredible hospitality of the Cade family extended beyond the borders of this country, and the energy and enthusiasm for the work that's going on and what we're doing, and the alumni coming out, and particularly as we enter into a campaign and something that we hope will define a lot of our work going forward. It's nice to see the embrace of what we're doing in every corner of this globe. It really is pretty exciting. Adjusting back to this time zone is less exciting, but all the other things are good. I spoke at the admission office right the day we got back, and I don't know about you guys, but when you have that kind of fatigue, my vision starts to shake like this. So everyone is really 2 people, not right now, but that. And so I was looking at what looked like a massive crowd, and actually wasn't that big. So, but are there questions or anything else I can answer for you? Yeah.
Can you share some details about the schedule? Just, is it 3 classes for 3 trimesters?
It's, they will take the same number of classes per trimester. It has to do with it's really more the weekly schedule. So it's still going to be N weeks and S weeks. And the classes are 70 minute approximately classes. And with the exception of 1 day a week where you would have 4 classes, I think, meet in that, you will never have more than 3 classes a day. The idea being it allows for greater depth of study. It means your homework load on a given night is less. Well, it's not less necessarily, but you're more focused rather than dividing it up. You have more efficiency because you're not moving from as many classes to as many classes during the course of the day.
Fewer transitions.
Yeah, much fewer transitions. And it allows us really to further develop our program. You know, when we made the transition from the APs to the advanced studies and a lot of that, we changed our courses somewhat, but we were still using the same framework for our courses. Now, as we move to this, we really have the opportunity to change much more dramatically, take advantages of the opportunities that we have with our kids and our faculty, and continue to make what we do especially distinctive. But we're pretty excited about it. It reduces to the some of the performing arts work that had been fairly dramatically marginalized sort of to the edges. It allows us to bring it in and do it a little more during the day so that we're not having that same kind of a burden on people. And especially once the new dining commons is open, serving food, serving meals, we think we can streamline a lot of that. So that's what we're thinking. And there will be a pretty significant series of communications about what it's all going to be. But we have, I think, 4 development days in the next month and a half, which will help us flesh some of that out as a full faculty. Yeah.
And the new schedule starts next fall.
Starts next fall. Yeah. Yeah, we have been working hard to make sure we're ready for next fall, so but we will be. Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for coming.
And then I just have a couple of announcements to make. I just wanted to update everyone on, you may be familiar with, we were having a problem with our CPO dues. We were short because of an invoicing change this year. That will be fixed, but for this year we had a problem of a budget that was quite short. So we, as you know, addressed the parents during family weekend, and thank you to everybody who participated and got back to me and helped us fix that problem. Most people, about 75% of those people that were missing contacted me over family weekend and agreed to be invoiced on the November invoice. And so that just went out, and already our budget is in like very much better shape. And still some people are excited about making up the difference with bake sales or other fun things. So maybe we're going to talk about how to make sure that we come in with everything we need. That those CPO dues, $75 per student is what we usually recommend, and that money that we collect out allows us to put on all of the CPO events, and also it helps us be inclusive so that people can volunteer even if they don't have deep pockets to put on the parties or donate all the materials. We still want everyone's help, and the CPO dues help us to equalize that. So thank you to everybody that participated in helping us fix that. And then also I just wanted to mention sports boosters. We are about to start a new round of sports, whatever you call in sports, a new season of sports. And I hear that all the new rosters are going out. And Debbie Liu has volunteered to be our sports booster chair, and that means that she will be receiving all of those rosters and trying to identify team parents on each of those teams who are willing to participate in getting snacks out or helping to coordinate snacks for the team, or different fun things that we can do to help the teams feel appreciated. So if you're interested in being a contact parent for your child's team, Debbie Liu's email address is also on this agenda, and we'll also make sure that a link to the agenda with all the necessary information is put with our video archive. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for coming out today. I know it's a big week for everybody getting ready for the holiday, but I know we're all very happy. I'm so happy to be with family next week and that everybody's coming home. So thank you all for coming today.
That's what you want. Foxy Light.